Imagine a healthy food source that delivered itself to your doorstep, free of charge. Far more than you and everyone in your town could possibly eat. Millions of pounds of delicious, beautiful protein, rich in essential omega fatty acids. This is what the wild salmon is to the Pacific Northwest. One of the last functioning ecosystems of its kind. In a perfect and ancient cycle, millions of wild salmon return from the open ocean to the streams and rivers of their birth, where they will spawn, die, and feed hundreds of species. Here, everything depends upon the wild Pacific salmon. Without these fish, we lose everything that British Columbia stands for.
We're now down to counting the number of generations before extinction in some of the populations here on the coast, and the allegations that have been corroborated in some of the world's most leading scientific journals is that the salmon farms are at the root of the problem.
The industry of farming salmon in BC began with good intentions and many small independent farms over 30 years ago. Today, however, it has become a large-scale industrial operation. Over 90% of the salmon farming industry in British Columbia is owned by Norwegian multinational corporations, who have little concern for the health of BC's ecosystem. One of the biggest problems is sea lice, but the dynamic is similar when it comes to the spread of disease. Lice are naturally found on adult salmon. However, nature has designed a system where the adult fish, who may carry lice or disease, rarely come in contact with the juvenile salmon. Once they enter the rivers, any lice or disease dies along with them. During the long winters, few adult salmon are present in the inshore waters. This means that naturally there are few, if any, host fish for parasites or disease to last on over the winter. When baby salmon hatch in early spring, they enter the saltwater inlets and fjords, which have been washed clean by the many tides of winter. Only now, instead of a clean run to the open ocean, they must navigate past a series of fish farms.
Because there's probably 700,000 to 1 million fish in there, even if there's only one louse per 2 fish, it still adds up to billions of lice larvae produced every few weeks. And these swim out into the water and they are designed to find a salmon. And that's the whole problem, the collision between these lice just billowing out of the farm and the little fry that come along and run into those clouds of lice.
The farms rely on chemical treatments like Lice in an attempt to control the sea lice. Many of these chemicals are known to be toxic, and much of it escapes through the net pens and into the surrounding environment. It is unknown exactly what kind of impacts this has, but fishermen are reporting that the flatfish in the areas near salmon farms have high levels of tumors, lesions, and eye parasites.
And so it's entirely possible that while the sea lice are eliminating the salmon, the treatment for the sea lice are wiping out the rest of the food web.
Like all drugs, eventually they lose their efficiency, and the lice may become stronger than ever.
Sea lice has the capacity to literally bring populations to extinction. This is fundamental, basic ecology. We could have and did predict it would happen. We've seen it happen in Scotland. We've seen it happen in Norway. We're now seeing it happen in Chile, and it's now well documented in British Columbia too. There's no way around this.
The main problem is that the Department of Fisheries and Oceans, which is the government agency in charge of protecting wild fish, now works for the interest of the salmon farming industry. They continue to deny that there's a problem, even in the face of dozens of studies linking farms to the collapse of wild stocks.
In my mind, I think the government has just written off the wild fish. They should come clean. We've decided that this is going to be a farm zone because that's the way they're handling it. They're not protecting the wild stocks. They're not doing their job. It's very, very hard as a biologist to see these little fish flinching under the lice day after day, thousands and thousands of them. It's a waste on a scale that boggles the mind. These fish feed everything around them, including us.
The best solution is to move the farm salmon into closed containment systems. But unless the industry is pressured to, they will not invest in this technology. One hope for these wild ecosystems lies in the power of the educated consumer. The next time you go to buy fish, consider asking at your restaurant or grocer if the salmon is wild or farmed. By telling them that you will not buy farmed salmon until the industry has gone to closed containment and is no longer impacting ecosystems like the one in British Columbia, you can play a vital role in protecting the wild salmon and everything that depends on it.